Refrigerators are commonplace in most households today. However, in colonial Jamaica, a stone water filter was the only means of cooling water.
Okay, what we have here is a dripstone or limestone water filter, which is, as you notice, is well safe in its lattice frame. What we do, I liken this to a refrigerator. Something like this would be found in the house of a wealthy person, right? While our refrigerator is run by electricity and can give us cold water or ice, the dripstone water filter would give us cool water. How it worked? The water was collected from a river or a stream and was deposited in the limestone catchment. Being limestone, you know, it would allow liquid to pass through eventually. So the water would soak into the rock. While it's passing through, the rock would purify the water, and then the water would drip into the cooling jar. So at any time that the owners of this, if I can call it again, refrigerator was ready, they could come here and have a nice cold cup or glass of water. Already purified, all it's ready to do is drink.
Long before the washing machine, there was the washing tub.
In the wash tub, we have what is known as the famous scrubbing board. On this, the item of clothing was placed and was scrubbed in a motion like this. Any color, any material. The corn cob was used as the wash brush. And this was used on the lighter clothes like linen or, in some cases, silk. Then we have inside the wash tub what is known as a clapper or a clapping stick. They would soap up the clothes, place it on a rock, and they would use this to beat the dirt out of the clothes, turn it over, and beat it some more. Personally, I want to thank God that we're not using this again. We thank God for technology, but this is where it all started.
In 21st century modern society, blenders and food processors are a common appliance within many homes. However, back then, getting a regular staple such as coconut or cassava on your dinner table took some work.
We have the grater, could be used for coconut or cassava, and it was industrial, as you can see. The pieces of coconut would be placed from the back, and one worker who would be turning the handle like this. While turning it, the grater would grate the pieces, and it would be dispensed at the bottom here, where they collected it and brought it to a boiling room to extract the oil from it.
A well-furnished house was a sign of aristocracy in the olden days, and making these furniture was hard work.
We have here a lathe machine. Well, luckily for our furniture makers today, they have electricity. This lathe machine was manually operated. You would have two apprentices who would turn the wheel here to give the speed and energy to the carver who would be standing down here. What you have right here determines the speed. How fast or how slow they would have it turning at a time. The carver would stand here with his chisel and he'll be making the grooves in the wood to make the legs or the pins for a chair or a table.
Getting to a fire scene in the 19th century took a while, as there were no fire trucks back then and pumps were carried on horse-drawn buggies.
This here is a fire truck, actually the pump for the fire truck. And what they would do when they got to where a fire was, they would make the attachments on the other side from the water supply, and another hose was attached to the back. And then the workmen, in a motion like this, would pump it as quickly as they could to pull the water from the water supply and to force it out to help to put out the fire.
With no power lines yet, generating electricity on a plantation was critical.
What we have here is the water wheel, one of the earliest forms of technology used on the plantations to generate energy. If you look to the top of the wheel, you'd notice a gutter, which is representing the aqueduct. The aqueduct would be what transported the water to the wheel. And as the water gets onto the wheel would start to turn. As the wheel turns, the machines that were attached to the wheel, they would also turn. So this energy would affect energy to the whole factories in the plantation. And through this process, they would boil the cane. They were able to boil the cane and also grind the cane. It provided a kind of energy known as hydroelectricity.